Hello friends, welcome to Manhattan Review, the TOEFL reading section. So, reading section, we have four question types. The first question type we are going to discuss today, that is multiple choice with one correct answer. So, what are you expected to do? You shall be given a passage with a few questions. So, the question type we are going to discuss today is multiple choice with one correct answer. So four options are provided. You need to select one correct answer here. So this question type consists of four answer choices. They include basic comprehension question, choosing a synonym for a highlighted word in the passage, and choosing the correct paraphrasing for a sentence highlighted in the passage. So, if you observe this a part of the passage clearly talks about the phenomena of seasonal bird migration has been known about for thousands of years, but it is still not fully understood by the scientists. So, the very first sentence gives you a clarity about what the passage probably all about. If you observe the statement, let's have a glance at the bird migration. The bird migration, so the entire sentence talked about the bird migration, and we can also predict the information in this passage could be all about the bird migration. Now let's focus on three important things, that is pre, post and during reading. So by reading the very first sentence you can predict what's the information going to find within the passage. So by observing the bird migration, let's predict what could be the possible information you tend to find in the passage. But the reasons for birds to migrate usually can be the food unavailability, or else any threat from the humans, or else it can be the habitat being the getting into adverse conditions. So these are the possible information we have predicted, and just we start reading. So what is the advantage of it? When you are going through it, you should be able to comprehend the passage more easily. Let's see this. Let's continue to read the passage and summarize it. First word we encountered, that is bird migration, and we are continuing now. Not all birds migrate, but generally speaking, the more northernly the breeding ground, the more likely it is a species will migrate south for a winter. The main reason for this annual shifting of residence is that during the northern winter, food becomes scarce and the cold temperatures make survival difficult. Some species are well adapted to these harsh conditions, but for those that aren't, moving south to warmer conditions is advantageous. So, while reading the what are the most important statements, a new idea that has been presented can be an important idea, and something that explains it, it's a supporting detail. So not all birds migrate. We are talking about that do not migrate. But generally speaking, the more northerly the breeding ground, the more likely is that the species will migrate south for winter. So that is understood that from probably north to the south, majority of the birds are migrating. The main reason for this annual shifting residence during the northern winter, food becomes scarce and the cold temperatures make survival difficult. So second statement talks about survival is become difficult because of two reasons. One is the scare, food becomes scarce, and adverse cold temperatures. Some species are well adapted to these. Let's focus on these harsh conditions. Which harsh conditions are we talking about? One is the cold temperature, other one is the food becoming scarce. So these are the two conditions are making harsh. These are the harsh conditions which make um some species to be adapted to this. Consequently, but for those that aren't moving, south to warmer conditions is advantageous. So which are we talking about? Which are adapted to these harsh conditions. Now let's have a look at the question. The paragraph, it is in the paragraph it is understood that some birds don't migrate south in the winter because. So let us understand the keywords of the question first. Birds, some birds don't migrate south in the winter. So because we have to find a reason why don't they migrate. So observe the statement. The very first sentence talks about migration rate, which is a generalized statement. Next, the entire statement talks about the birds that migrate. And coming to the last statement, some species are well adapted to these harsh conditions, but those aren't. Moving south to warmer condition is advantageous. So moving south to warmer condition is advantageous. So what is the question, friend? Birds that don't migrate south in the winter. So what are the words? So some species are well adapted to these conditions, those are not migrating. So the answer now we have predicted that which are adapted to harsh conditions, they don't migrate. So let's have a look at the question, friend. A. Already live in the warmer conditions. So we are not talking about the warmer conditions. We are talking about the colder conditions like cold temperature. So this is contradicting with the information given. So live in areas that have an abundant food supply. If they have abundant food supply, uh, they don't migrate, number one. Number two, we are not talking about the southern part where the food is adequately available. It talks about the food becomes scarce. So that means this is also contradicting with the information given in the passage. Have a difficulty surviving the frigid temperatures. So which actually have a difficulty with the frigid temperature, actually they are migrating to the different places. But the question is asking you, birds don't migrate. So even C cannot be the answer because it talks about the birds that migrate. Uh, D are suited to the difficult conditions. So suited here, and if you see adopted here, some species means some birds are adapted to the harsh conditions. What do they do, friend? They don't migrate. So option D can be the answer here.